so we are coming up on this is a real good one, and I'm quite sure that it will definitely be, somebody's going to say something that's going to come up at face-to-face on this question. And this was submitted by Miss Suzette. Well, not submitted, but she chose this question. As one of the guys asked, are traditional male-female roles obsolete? And is that a negative or a positive?
Well, I have really strong opinions about this that run the gamut. I don't even know where to begin. But let's just start with the question, are they obsolete? I think they absolutely are obsolete. I mean, and I think that a lot of things contributed to the demise of male-female roles. One is our mothers. I think that plays a strong, powerful part in how people continue the roles that they saw before them. You know, most times, you know, in our community, we talk about single-parent households. So some young people are not really exposed to the correct roles that should exist in a male-female relationship. And with that being the case, you know, sometimes, and I know I get a lot of flack for this when I say it, but sometimes I think one of the worst things that happened to a black man was his black mother, because she gives really bad examples of relationships. She talks about their father in front of them. She doesn't, you know, a woman, I don't believe, can raise a man. You can raise a good citizen, you can raise a thought-provoking person, you can, all of those things. But I don't believe I can show, I have a 17-year-old son, and I don't believe that I can show him the proper etiquette or role or position that a man has to take. Now, with that being said, he has a girlfriend. I make sure he pays for every date. Not just one date, there is no Dutch. You pay and you provide for the woman that you want to take out.
Good job, good job.
Exactly. And I also have a 22. Right. Her birthday's coming up. I have a daughter who is married, and you know, I made sure, boo boo, you're gonna have to cook, and not in a microwave. Like I'm a household that doesn't like a microwave. I like pots and pans. I like them to rattle. You know what I mean? So I taught her the things, you know, that it should exist for a wife. That you should, you know, do these things for your man. I believe the traditional role of the man is to, as we say on the dialogue, right, provide, protect, and penetrate. But we'll start with the first two. I do believe that it is a man's job to provide for his family. And, you know, men get really upset about that, or what are you bringing to the table, or if you don't have this, and if you don't have what I'm bringing. That's not really how it was designed to be. I mean, we can go back to caveman days where, you know, he drug in the deer and the woman picked the man who had the biggest deer. You know what I mean? Or, and when he brought the deer home, he expected you to cut it up and cook it. Yeah. So, and in my marriage, because I was married, that was one of the big things, and that was one of the things that we wanted to add in committing ourselves to each other. That as a symbol of our marriage, he gave me a bag of silver and gold coins as his way to demonstrate that this is how he was going to provide and take care of our family. And then I accepted those gold coins from him and vowed to him that I would always respect what he brought into our household and make sure that we were okay with what he provided. And that, to me, is what the tradition.
Wait a minute, help yourself, Donald, get some corn.
But I mean, this is the last question that we talked about. In the Bible, there were dowries. The man came and he showed the father, this is how I will provide for the woman who I'm taking away from your family. So I do, and there are multiple reasons why. So, you know, the black mother isn't necessarily doing her job and training them up. And I tell people all the time, I do have a son and a daughter. I would never raise a daughter I wouldn't want my son to marry. And I would never raise a son I wouldn't want my daughter to marry. I have to teach them what their roles are. And then we had things like women's lib, which really, black people, it wasn't for us anyway. We worked anyway. We worked anyway. That was a white woman's thing. So, you know, black men always always say, well, you know, women's lib and you want to be. No, that wasn't for us. That
We needed our bras.
Right. We got G's in the room.
No bras.
So the women's lib excuse really doesn't fit for us because it wasn't for us. You know, in communities 100 years ago, Miss Jenkins had the bakery and the restaurant and the daycare. We've always worked. We've always provided in some way for our families. But men have to now step really up and really take on their role as a man, which to me is those 3 P's, but it also means reaching out in your community and taking charge of those things, not just your family, your community, your environment, and extended family. So yes, they are obsolete. Yes, it's horrible and shameful, and it's the reason I'm single. I have been in 3 generations of providers. My great-grandfather provided, my grandfather provided, and my father provided. And I watched the women, they worked, but they did with what they wanted to with their monies, which wasn't frivolous things. It was still taking care of the children and making sure that everything was running okay, but they had leisure to do some things that they wanted to do because their husbands provided.
Took care of
right, and that man does not exist anymore. So therefore, I am single and dating women.
What?
Yes.
That ain't got nothing to do with opposite.
Yes,
Wow,
that's true.
okay.
That's
Well,
true.
you slapped that right on the top.
I tell guys this all the time.
About those
She's dated women that are more men than men.
I've dated more women that are more they do more things in the male gender role than the men that I've been around do.
Wow.
So I have opened my dating pool up. I am a bisexual, bi-relationship woman. It's just true. It's just true. Right. I'm sorry. I didn't just throw that in there.
I hear that a lot, and it's just, to me, if I was a guy, I'd just be so embarrassed to constantly hear these women talk about how these other women are outminning. I just, please do better. Just, I don't want to hear that. I'm embarrassed for you. Please.
I don't think that the role, I don't think it's extinct. I really don't. I just think that women and men need to be more selective of who they choose as a mate and what is required for them to be with that person and vice versa. I feel like nothing is cookie cutter. What might be very important to Suzette might not mean a hill of beans to me. So I've always felt like with marriage, you know, that is your contract that you make with your significant other, has nothing to do with what society feels is supposed to be a great marriage.
But in terms of the question, do you think that the gender roles as they once defined, do you think that they're no longer true?
No, I think I still think that there are men that are men and will run their house, and I think that are women. But the thing, right? No.
Where are they?
I mean, what's the definition of run the house? Now we got to get to boxes again. Now we got to clarify the context again.
I mean, the thing about, I'm 44. And I mean, my fiance is 37 years old, and he's more of a man than a lot of men. I mean, he could tell me something on the phone. As soon as I hang up, I am doing what that man has requested me. And I was raised in a single family. My father wasn't around. I know where he was, but my father had nothing to do with my life, with my upbringing. I had no uncles. My mother had all sisters. I had no uncles. There were no really real male role models in my life. How I got to the point where I know that what I see what is a real man was my godfather. My godfather was in my life for maybe 4 or 5 years of my life, and he was a provider. He went out, he worked for the post office. His wife she did hair in the basement. She cooked, she cleaned, he provided. He, you know, and I think but although he was a very quiet and meek and very quiet man, she was a fighter.
Vision Rod Studios in 1906 and a half. South Halsted here in Chicago.
If you've ever dreamed of becoming an entrepreneur and don't know where to start, The Entrepreneur Within You by Julie Holloway is a must-read. Holloway and 17 co-authors share advice and inspiration that can save you from serious business blunders. So purchase your copy today on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. The entrepreneur within you. Empowering, equipping, inspiring.
She was just always, why you rah, 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 rah. And I used to feel bad for him. I'm like, why is she attacking my daddy? You know, you understand what I'm saying? So I think growing up, I was like, if my man does that for me, if he provides for me, I know that I need to be in a submissive role and not bark orders at him and not question his authority and not question his decisions. Because if I marry a man, I trust your decisions. I might not agree with your decisions, but I will stand behind your decisions. And if we are sitting on boxes outside our house because we got evicted, I can say, nigga, damn it.
I was with you right. I was with you right to them.
Wait a minute, but you're saying, you know, I mean, his decisions aren't going to always be right decisions, but you don't have to beat him down because he made it. He's human, and he's entitled to that, and he's entitled for his wife to uplift him and build him, and he is supposed to also listen to his wife and consider her feelings and her needs. And I think that the reason why I think it's not extinct is, like I said before, you have to know when you go into a relationship what is important to you. What do you want? What do you need? And find a man that gives that to you and vice versa. And stop settling. Just saying, well, he got a good job, that's good enough. But that's his money. And if he hasn't agreed or put forth to you the information that I'm going to provide for you, don't assume because this man making 6 figures that he's going to provide for you as his wife. You know, he can say, I just said
his wife, that is the expectation. Wait a minute.
It's an expectation.
We would be turned corners.
No, expectation.
Yeah, I agree.
How do you marry someone and, not have that on 4 quarters of a page? You know what I mean?
I've known women who've done that, and I just posted on my Facebook status the other day. I said, I expect not to expect a damn thing. I don't expect anything.
I think that you get what you expect. Right. So when your expectations are low, then you get low expectations.
Exactly, but don't expect. My thing is this, like I said with the marriage. When you get into a marriage, the contract in that marriage is what you agree upon in your marriage.
Okay, and now to me it sounds like you're saying that it's not extinct in expecting them. But I think the question is more, does it exist? Where are the men that are doing these things besides Donald? Where are the men that are providing for the family?
But where are the women that are willing to submit?
But you're putting the part of it. That is a part of it. But that's the cart before the horse. You can't submit to something that you don't trust and know that's going to be the bad.
There we go.
I think you have to create a clearing. You have to be open that is going to come into your life, otherwise it will never come. And I think that a big part of the reason that these gender roles are obsolete or are extinct is because black women have killed them. Meaning, if you have a man who steps up and provides and does whatever the little checklist is that you have, and he does all of it, we don't let him do it. We yell at him, we bark at him like you said, your godmother did. We bark at him, we tell him what he's doing wrong, we give him directions, we give him suggestions, we tell him, no, well, I would have done it like this, and then we take it over and we do it ourselves.
Those are the symptoms of the problem. Those are the symptoms of the problem. Because you have to ask yourself why that is. I was sitting at an urban dialogue with Suzette, and a woman literally cried in the audience and said, I have been single for 19 years. I have raised a son by myself. I'm now back in the dating world. I don't know how to let a man submit because I have had to lead myself and my family for so long that I don't know how to do it. Do you know how many... that's a huge problem. We have carried the weight, the bulk, for so long.
Why do we have to continue to do that?
I don't think that we don't. I don't think we could. It should be changed. It should be able to change.
Like you said, okay, women's lib never fit us because it was never made for us, because we didn't have to be freed from the household, so we were already working. But when we're working, we're a certain way in the workplace. We are running the show, we're telling people what to do, we're managing employees, we're managing, we're the supervisor, we're in charge of this project or that. Then we come home and we try to manage that man the same way we manage our employees. And that's what doesn't work.
I agree with you, because I always think about Oprah, right? You know Oprah on Sunday morning got her flip-flops on and is cooking grits for Stedman. She don't have to, but I bet you.
Grits is good.
Exactly. And so I do think that, women, we do get empowered in the workplace and we think we run and we own shit. I don't understand that, because I always say that once I cross the threshold, because I've been owners of businesses.
Don't want to tell nobody nothing.
I had to make decisions.
I don't want to know.
Figure out how we were going to get $17,000 out of the hole. I've lived that stressful life. But when I came home, I just want to be a girl.
Yeah.
I want to be a woman.
I
want my woman energy, my feminine essence to be all that exists in my household. And that is what I think women are missing.
And it makes for a happier woman. It makes for a happier house. It makes for a happier marriage. I think it's a 50-50 problem. I don't think this is a problem that black women are going to change one day and all of a sudden all black relationships in America are going to be healed. I don't think it's going to happen. It's a 50-50 issue. So yes, you have so much crap in the toilet of black relationships that we could take it all the way back to that and broke the men down when I was watching Django the other day. Whipped your wife in front of you. Okay, so now you have this separation issue with your own women and your own children. It's not your fault, but it is a part of the generational issues that we pass down from father to father, mother to mother, and daughter to daughter. And then with the women, it's like, I don't know if this man's going to be here for me now or later, either because someone has taken him from me, be it the master or the system or the po-pos or homosexuality, whatever, so then you're afraid. So you're like, well, I better do this for myself. I'm a single mom. I have a son. I got to pull this together. I got to make it happen. And these women don't know how they gonna do it, but they just know they gonna do it, and they get out there and they hustle and they grind and they make it happen. They provide lives for their family, for the community. They're in the schools, and it's like the men sometimes, I'm going to generalize because not all men, but it's kind of started to create a kind of cushy kind of guy who is so used to having the mom who worked hard and had 5 jobs and cooked and cleaned and did everything and scrubbed to have diet and enabled him.
Cushy is a good word for weak.
Because she just, and what the mothers weren't trying to ruin their sons, but what did they know? The fathers weren't there to help them out. And all a woman can do is be a woman. She just can't be a man. She just does not know what to teach a young man, like you said, about being a man in the world. So she babied him, because that's what your mom does. Your mom is the person, you come home and you cry, and you go, and she goes, oh, baby, it's going to be okay. You just don't. Your father is the one who's like, boy, your father is the one who instills some sense of the world and right and wrong and responsibility, and if you don't do it, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. It's like the guys don't have that anymore. That is that sense of what a man is and the presence that a man has. Not just the presence he has over his family, but the presence he has over you, your children, the presence he has over his community, the presence that he has as an elder of his community and setting examples to everyone in the community that this is how we are going to behave as African American men. So you got breakdowns all over the place. Now we kind of want to go back to these roles because quite frankly the other roles just aren't working. And everybody can be as liberal as you want to be, but look at the state of our community, the relationships, and the children. My God, if ever there's a reflection of what we're doing wrong, look at these little kids out here in the streets, and you can't look at them and go, oh, these kids these days, you made these bad little bastards and send them out there acting crazy like that, and condone their behavior and buy them all the clothes and don't require any responsibility or grades. And you know what, it's a lot going on. I get it, Black America, I get it, Black woman, I get it, Black man. Everybody feels downtrodden, everybody feels beat up, everybody feels misunderstood, and everybody at the end of the day just wants to be loved. But we're so afraid of each other. We're so afraid of putting down our walls and letting everything down and starting to genuinely say, hey, this is what I need. This is what hurt me. This is where I'm insecure